Hello, YouTube. You're gonna have to bear with me. Everybody's complaining that they didn't get to see the whole book last time, so I'm trying my best to make sure you get to see everything on every page. This is the front of the 2019 Volume 2. I don't know how much to make this better for you. But tanks on the front, the mini lunchbox on the back page. There we go. They just brought out the Sheridan, I guess, this year on 2019 Volume 2, that part of the year. And this was the first year, I think, Volume 2 of the second part of the year, they brought out the mini lunchbox. Now there's a new vehicle under this little line, the Mad Mud. Looks like an old Suzuki Jimny. They also brought out the Comical Frog that year. And then they brought out the GF01TR. I don't know if you can still buy this one. This is considered a small vehicle, 1/14 scale. As you see, they made this vehicle with portals. It's interesting, no one's made a vehicle this small, I think, with portals. And then the Black Edition, you might still be able to get this, the Black Monster Beetle Black Edition, which I prefer over the red one. And they brought back the blue version of the Brat, which now, if you get the original, you get to make this one if you want, because they come with Lexan bodies, a Lexan body and a hard body at the same time in the kit, which is nice. And I think you can get it for around $200 US or less. And then that year, also, they came back out with the re-release of the Audi Quattro Rally A2. It might be new decal sheet, because basically they've had this car before. And then they came out again with another one, the Touring of the A4 touring car. If I'm not mistaken, during Le Mans season several years back, they allowed this all-wheel drive car to run in the rally. Not rally, I mean in the in the race. And I haven't seen an all-wheel drive one except on Le Mans, you know, the Toyota 050. Which is on a Formula One chassis. Well, technically, it's a all-wheel drive vehicle, and they should have put it on an all-wheel drive vehicle because it raced that way for years. I think they stopped racing it after last year. And one's on the TT01 chassis, and the other one's on the TT02. And then they came out with the Volkswagen Type 2 T1 of Volkswagen bus, microbus. On an M06 chassis. Proper vehicle to be on this. It also has the longest wheelbase of them, of the M06s. It's one of the vehicles on the longer wheelbase setup. And it came with a red and white painted body. And then they came out with a new TTO2 chassis of the brand new Mazda 3 with the new body of the hatchback, which now in real life does have an all-wheel drive system in it. And this year, they just put a 250 horsepower version in this car with all-wheel drive. Which is strange. I heard that they use some type of torsion bar setup for the all-wheel drive system in the rear. Thought that was kind of strange. I thought it'd be an independent rear. I hear it still handles well in real life. And then here's the M08 concept. With its hop-ups. Sorry that I'm moving it around a lot. I don't want to make people sick. But I want to make sure all these pages get seen. So this is going to be a longer than usual video for these things. Now, with one of the new chassis that came out, I think last year or this year, on the MF-01X, that Escort from the 70s, that rally car, well, to give an honorable mention, RC Kicks didn't like that it was on an all-wheel drive chassis for that car, so he bought himself an M08 concept chassis for it. And he used this one. And then we have the Plasma Edge 2, which is the normal version here, I think. As you see, they had a limited edition metallic blue, which I would have preferred. And then they also had a dual ridge at the time with a black metallic one. These are the TTO2 buggies. They still make the Plasma Edge. I like the gunmetal one the most of the bodies. The color. As you see here, this might have come out the year before, but yeah, I think it did. But they're showing it here. Here is what the Hilux looks like today. And they put it in the old bruiser garb on the fully metal chassis. So you could have both now, but this is on the CC01. And as you see, they had a 73 Bronco. I think that was a limited production. They didn't say, but that is a hard body to come by, from what I understand now. And I just realized the Amarok, it's being made, but it's in Europe. They haven't set it here. And there is a live axle on it in real life, in the rear. And believe it or not, when they tested on this channel called Car Wow, it's been out accelerating all the pickups in its class. It's pretty funny. As you see here, what I told you about the bruiser in its original garb. Now you can get it in the CC01 on the new body. And they brought back the limited edition Mountain Rider, which I hear is back again. They didn't waste time. Took a couple of years to bring it back again. And there's the CR01s and the high lifts. This is the one, if I got this, this one would be the one I got because it's the least top heavy. So you see there's metal gears in this, in the internals for the diffs. This is full-time four-wheel drive, unlike the Bruiser. And then you got the limited edition again that they're showing of the painted G601 body. And then there's the Dyna head with the portal axles. Technically, this is the smallest vehicle with portal axles because it's 1/18 scale based on the vehicle it's based on. They seem to show the XV01s. I don't know if they were still being made at the time, but I assume you could still get them, so that's why they have it pictured here. And you have the DN01s, which is not a well-known buggy chassis that is based after one. Eventually, it's the poor man version of a TRF model that they used to make. I think it's a 201. I could be wrong. And the XV01s they're expensive, they're belt driven, and they handle really good. And they're front motored. And then we got the MF01X chassis, which this is kind of popular, this particular Beetle. It's all-wheel drive. And of course, they have the Jimny. I think it's a present body, but I could be wrong. And there's the two-door of the G-Wagon, the 320. And then we have a limited edition Neon Fighter Buggy Green Metallic for the DT03s. I mean, yeah. Oh, I forgot about this. The DFO1, the DFO3 chassis. That still exists, I think. There's another limited production model here of the DT03 Black Edition. A lot of people have been doing videos on this one here. The truck version. The EquaShot. And I think they're still making this car. The GF01s. These are like the four-wheel drive versions of like the Midnight Pumpkin version vehicles. But these have shorter wheelbases, I think. As you see here, they had these are all four-wheel drive. This is considered 1/24th scale because it's based after that mammoth two-story dump truck they use in quarries. So, yeah, that one right here. So, they had a black edition of the lunchbox, and then they had a red edition that year, which is limited. I would have preferred these two over the regular yellow one. And there's the frog, comical frog. And then they still had the metallic special of the CW01 of the Midnight Pumpkin, which I would have preferred over the original body. I think those are hard bodies still. I could be wrong. And it looks like they still have the big wig. They said it's limited production, and it came out in 2017, so they're showing it again. So I guess they still had enough kits out there for it. The only car that Tamiya ever made with a rack and pinion steering. Kyosho did one too, and I think that was on the USA 1 monster truck. And here is the Nissan Titan, the Stadium Thunder, the Monster Beetle 2015, the Blitzer Beetle 2011. Looks like these were still available. This kit here, this monster truck, you can fit the Clod tires on this and rims with a different hub setup that fits it. But this car has all metal gears. The body, the chassis, I think are all metal. You wouldn't think that, but they're painted black. And of course, you got the Super Clod in the blue. I would prefer the black one that was out, or still out. You still are able to get the Blackfoot, even though it was made in 2016, re-release. Really like to get my hands on a XR311 with the torsion suspension system. Looks like they had the Super Hot Shot still available, even though it came out in 2012. I had this car back when it first came out. They called it the Super Shot, but now they call it the Super Hot Shot, but the same car. Here's the other one, the other buggy that's on the that shares its chassis with 3 other vehicles. One has a different rear suspension setup, though, which has been re-released too. They call it they used to call it the Super Champ, but it's not called that anymore. But this, the Rough Rider, came back out. I don't think you can find it anymore, but this is on the Sand Scorcher chassis, so it's a lot of metal. The trucks. Some trailers. You know, this is actual shipping container. I think you actually see these on barges or that transport these a lot over to all our oceans in the world. And there's another truck. And all the optional parts they have for it. tanks. .135 scale tanks that are radio controlled. Like they have 135th, 125th, and of course the 116th. There's some on-road models and rally cars. Turning cars. The drifting models. And here are the 1/14 scale racing trucks that they do in Europe. And then the T301, the dual rider, which is the best looking body of them all. of both those. And then we have the TA07 Pro, which you can maneuver center gearbox or the motor in different positions on the car. And then you have the TB05 Pro. They just came out with a new one for this year, and it's called the R, I think, and it's got more TRF stuff on it than this. And it looks like you can change the positions of the motor on this. You can see. And this one's shaft driven, the TB. The TA07 was a belt drive car. Here's the M06 chassis. Good luck trying to find that Alpine and Giulia Alfa Romeo bodies. And they made the Midnight Pumpkin on a lowrider with on this too. But that becomes a 12th scale on this car, on this chassis. The M05s. Oh, here's the M07, sorry. And they have an M07R. M07 concept and the R version of it. Now, this is the only M05 that has rally treads on their front-wheel drive M chassis cars here. The 2CV. If I were to buy the 2CV, it'd be the rally one first before I buy the other one. And good luck trying to find the Mazda 2. They don't even make that car anymore in real life. And this, everybody and I have a big problem with this. This needs to be on an M06 chassis, this Mazda MX-5, with the new body of it. The new modern body of it, version of it. That makes no sense. It's a rear-wheel drive car. It needs to be on our M06 chassis. I don't know why and what they were thinking. Someone was drinking too much sake when he was putting this one together. It should be on a rear-wheel drive chassis. You would think the people who make these at Tamiya, they would be studying the cars they're basing their vehicles on, and they would know what drivetrains are on them. And there's the F104 Pro 2 chassis, Formula One. And as I told you, the Gazoo Racing TS050 here should have been on an all-wheel drive platform because it was all-wheel drive during the race when you would accelerate. I forgot if Tamiya ever made an I think they made a Formula One chassis that had all-wheel drive on it. It might have been belt-driven too. I'm not sure. I could be wrong. And if they should have brought that back and put that vehicle on it if they wanted to keep it in the F1 family. And then we got the F103 GT. This is what, of course, this Gazoo Racing is on. And then they brought back the Tyrrell P34, but with a different decal setup. Because a couple of years before that, they had the other one with a different decal sheet. And this is a painted body. And here are the hop-ups for the TTO2Bs. And the DTO3 hop-ups.